And on this lovely morning, I have decided to tell you guys why I basically stopped dating. For starters, men don't cold approach anymore. They don't. What they do is they aura farm and they stare at you and then that's it. Prime example right here. It's hilarious. I went to Chicago, hanging out with my friends. We're at the club, bumping. One of my friends' friends walks into the club. We lock eyes. We lock eyes. We look each other up and down. He comes over. My friend introduces him and is like, hey, this is Jez. She's my friend. Shakes my hand, introduces himself, walks away. That's the end of it. A couple days later, I fly back to LA. I check my Instagram. I got a follow from the guy, but he likes my photos. Doesn't DM me. Still hasn't made a move.
Yeah, so this is actually not a problem. Like, nothing wrong or bad or insidious is happening at all. To clarify, all that happened is that you did not get aggressively hit on. Would you like to know why you did not get aggressively hit on? Because of men actually listening to women, yes. You see, our people, the women, have been screaming at men to not approach us, to not come anywhere near us, like repeatedly. So men said, great, let me respect that. So interest is now, yes, soft launched. You said that he's not making a move, but he did. He liked your photos. Sorry he's not choke slamming you into a wall and saying, I own you now, like in the romance novels. Liking a photo is not going to get him pepper sprayed and put on a list. But the funniest part about all of this is that you are the one interested in him. You want him. You do something. But women hate this. They do not want to do this. And yet in 2026, it's our job now. We have to do it. We have to be the ones to tell men when we actually want them. After Me Too, there is no chance in hell that men are just going to cold approach women unless they have a giant green neon sign that says, please cold approach me. And even then you might have to clarify. So you can cry about it if you want, but those of us who actually want the man are gonna go get him. I'm not waiting around for shit.
And on this lovely morning, I have decided to tell you guys why I basically stopped dating. For starters, men don't cold approach anymore. They don't. What they do is they aura farm and they stare at you and then that's it. Prime example right here. It's hilarious. I went to Chicago, hanging out with my friends. We're at the club, bumping. One of my friends' friends walks into the club. We lock eyes. We lock eyes. We look each other up and down. He comes over. My friend introduces him and is like, hey, this is Jez. She's my friend. Shakes my hand, introduces himself, walks away. That's the end of it. A couple days later, I fly back to LA. I check my Instagram. I got a follow from the guy, but he likes my photos. Doesn't DM me. Still hasn't made a move.
Yeah, so this is actually not a problem. Like, nothing wrong or bad or insidious is happening at all. To clarify, all that happened is that you did not get aggressively hit on. Would you like to know why you did not get aggressively hit on? Because of men actually listening to women, yes. You see, our people, the women, have been screaming at men to not approach us, to not come anywhere near us, like repeatedly. So men said, great, let me respect that. So interest is now, yes, soft launched. You said that he's not making a move, but he did. He liked your photos. Sorry he's not choke slamming you into a wall and saying, I own you now, like in the romance novels. Liking a photo is not going to get him pepper sprayed and put on a list. But the funniest part about all of this is that you are the one interested in him. You want him. You do something. But women hate this. They do not want to do this. And yet in 2026, it's our job now. We have to do it. We have to be the ones to tell men when we actually want them. After Me Too, there is no chance in hell that men are just going to cold approach women unless they have a giant green neon sign that says, please cold approach me. And even then you might have to clarify. So you can cry about it if you want, but those of us who actually want the man are gonna go get him. I'm not waiting around for shit.
What's up?
I think my chain came off.
Yeah, it definitely did.
What do I do?
That's not good. What are you gonna do?
What do you mean, what am I gonna do? You're gonna fix it.
See, I would fix it, but remember last week?
No, I don't.
When I ran, hold up, let me get there. Let me get to it.
I don't remember
Let me
last
get
week
to
though,
it.
so it doesn't matter.
You know, the point is at the end of a sentence. So let me get. Last week, I ran out of gas on that dirt bike up the road.
So what?
And what did you do? What did you tell me when I asked
told
you to
walk.
help me?
I told you to walk.
You told me to walk, and I walked. So you know what I'm gonna tell you to do?
You're not gonna fix
No,
it?
I'm not. You're gonna push it all the way. We're not as far as I was. You're a lot closer, and your bike is lighter, so you should be fine.
What's the point of having a boyfriend if you're not gonna do anything for me?
I do it all for you. But you told me to kick rocks when I was in the same position as you.
Yeah, I'm kind of on his side because what do you mean you left him stranded last week without any gas and now you're expecting him to solve your problems just because he's a man, right? Because social media will tell you all day long that ladies don't need to do anything. They just need to sit back and receive. That is not the reality of life and what a relationship should look like. There should absolutely be reciprocity in a way that highlights everyone's strengths. Because yes, a man is more likely to be able to fix that issue with that bike or with a car or anything that's mechanical. But that doesn't dissolve you from being able to do things for him that are within your capabilities, such as running out and getting some gasoline and bringing it back to him. You ask that man, what is the point in having a boyfriend if he's not doing those sorts of things for you? Well, that same question should be flipped back at you. What is the point of him having a girlfriend that isn't willing to do things that are within her capabilities simply because she doesn't want to?
And at some point in time, modern women have to understand that, you told a man that you don't want a man talking to you. So when a man goes and, is it a wrong thing for a man to go and do something else with his time besides being in somebody else's face? Because that's what modern women want. They want you to be in their face. They don't necessarily want anything with you because you're not Chad or Tyrone. They just want some attention and validation.
When you go to a coffee shop for a date, or you go to the bookstore for a date, or you go feed the geese for a date, whatever it is that you want to do that costs $50 or less, and that woman is actually interested in getting to know you, stop spending money on her. And if she tells you she doesn't want to go out with you because it's going to take energy and time and all of these things, she doesn't like you. She doesn't like you. She doesn't want you. She wants what she can get from you.
I completely co-sign what she's saying. Do not lead with money in a relationship. Otherwise, you're going to attract people who are interested in your money. You want to attract people that are interested in who you are. If you meet a girl, if you get her phone number and you want to take her out to something more casual, I always recommend, if you're even going to do coffee, make sure it's coffee plus an event, coffee plus a walk, coffee plus a picnic, coffee plus a museum, something like that. I highly recommend you take that approach rather than break the bank on a complete stranger with the hopes that you're not seeing a bunch of other people and with the hopes that you want to see me again. That is a lot of risk for men, especially in 2026. If you are interested in a woman and she pushes back on you doing something that's a bit on the less expensive side, then that should make you question whether or not you want to be with this person. Why is this person so interested in getting you to spend money? I recommend things like happy hours on a weekday. If you're leading with money, you're going to get gold diggers. But if you're leading with who you are, your confidence, your personality, your ability to listen and have interesting conversations, that is what's going to determine whether or not someone likes you beyond your resources. Do not spend unnecessary money, especially on early dates. Now, if you guys are more into it and you really care about the person, you want to take her somewhere nice, that's fine. But don't do that for complete strangers. That is going to make you more resentful in the dating process going forward. If you want advice on dating, let's talk.
To all the single mothers that are dating, most guys don't take you serious because of the fact that they're not willing to father another man's child. And as childish as that sounds, because say you're a great woman, great chemistry, but this guy, he can't get past the fact that that's another man's child. It's because it's a pride thing. Like, they're gonna take on another man's responsibilities, so they feel like they're like second rate. They feel like they're like continuing another man's story, and that man is doing whatever he wants to do. So, excuse me, ladies, understand that's probably the number one reason why guys don't take single mothers serious, just because of the fact that they can't get past it. But when you develop an emotional connection with a woman, regardless if she has kids or not, that bond that you have, that you create with her, it's so deep and it's so special that that's where you start finding true love. So ladies, when you're dating, try to pursue an emotional connection. Get to know the person, get him to know you for who you are, deep down, what you're willing to bring to the table, how you are as a person, wholeheartedly. Because these guys, they get so caught up quickly on just visually seeing what's around, seeing how you look, seeing what you have. But when you can get him to be attached to you on a deeper level, that's when you got him. But understand, the first hurdle and the only hurdle that's going to be the most important one is the way he perceives you, whether you have a child or not. Because if you do have a child, that's going to be in the back of his mind. So ladies, understand this, okay? This is number one reason why guys don't take women seriously.
Ladies, you can be consistent too. I posted a video the other day trying to speak for y'all, trying to articulate some of the needs that y'all have in regards to consistency and y'all not necessarily wanting a man to do the same thing over and over again more than you want him to be consistent with intentionality. And some of y'all use my video to weaponize against men. But what about you, sis? Can you be consistent? Can you be consistent with supporting that man? Can you be consistent with regulating your emotions in a healthy way instead of always projecting these unhealthy, unhealed, traumatic emotions onto that man? Can you be consistent with not always telling that man how you feel and sometimes coming to him with a logical standpoint? Can you be consistent? What about you, sis? What about you? Y'all say if he wanted to, he would, and you right. But guess what? If she wanted to, she would. So stop acting like relationships are one-sided. Stop acting like that man don't have needs too, that he don't have feelings too. Stop acting like that man don't need consistency with intentionality too. Can you be consistent? Can you be consistent with not making everything in the relationship about you? Can you be consistent when he gives his feelings or he gives his issue and not making it about how he said it or what he said to you? Can you be consistent with accountability? Can you, can you be consistent with having peace within yourself so you don't have to be that man's peace because you are a peaceful person? Can you be consistent? Now let me see you weaponize this.
I don't think these modern women really understand the level of peace that a man receives when he stops messing with modern women, when he stops entertaining modern women. No longer is it, and we can even separate the dates, right? Oh, I got to take you to this expensive restaurant. We can separate that. We can just talk about how you keep up mess every day for no reason. You're always getting into something that you have no business being in, talking about you're doing it for the plot, and I've got to listen to the nonsense when I could be thinking about making money, doing a hobby, enjoying a hobby, picking up another one. Which one do you think is more appealing?
A guy who, I was going to say something, but then, the world we live in now, you can't say that. I ain't gonna say what I was gonna say. You can't say that these days. It's too sensitive out here these days. You just can't say, you just be the platform. But let's just say it like this. A guy who rough them up a little bit. I think I can get away with that. They want a guy that's, cuss him out. Not when I say rough him up, I don't mean put his hands on him. I mean cuss him out, like treat him, don't put him on a pedestal. In the hood, fast money, live dangerous, kind of like life on the edge. That gets their wet. The fact that the dude, they be here today and in the feds tomorrow. For some reason, for some women, that's attractive. I have no, the thrill and all this other. So if you're a purple pill guy, you need to be cognizant of that. Because if she was a Pookie and Ray Ray lover, guess what? She's still going to be a Pookie and Ray Ray lover. If a woman go and marry a guy who been a trick all his life, going to brothels, buying and like that, what the you think gonna happen when she get with him? Every now and then he's still gonna dip out to them brothels. You can't take the trick out that every now and then, maybe once or twice a year, he's still gonna have to go buy some. It's just in him, and that's the same way these goddamn girls is who's the Pookie and Ray Ray lovers. Vindictive, you don't want those because they very petty, which means that when you don't want her ass no more, she could try to do something to.
I need to find a guy.
Here comes the bullshit.
That gets excited to see me as the guy at the gas station up the street from my house.
Back we go to the Lululand, where the Delilahs always claim that there's no good pieces left in the dating game. But the whole damn time they're looking over and past their future man.
Every day I walk in, that guy is so fucking happy to see me.
Oh my God! Wow!
Every day. He's like, hi, how are you? How was your weekend?
All I want is a taste.
He loves me. Why can't I find somebody like that?
Flag on the play. Now this is a perfect example of a person that's not willing to date their speed.
You ain't never lied.
I can almost guarantee you there's only two reasons that she doesn't see this guy as a viable option to date. One, because he works at the gas station and she figures he doesn't make enough. And 2, he isn't her type. He doesn't look good enough because I can promise you this, if he did, she'd be dating the gas station guy. The moral to this story is simple, folks. What you see in the mirror is usually not what the world sees. And the sooner you learn that, the better off will be your dating life.
I'll be damned.
Because if you walking around thinking you a 10, but really you down in that 4 or 5 range, those 10s are gonna show your ass taillights and tailpipes.
And, you know, modern women, a lot of them thrive on what's out there. I'm doing it for the plot. What's next? But, you know, unless there's a little bit more uncertainty, especially in dating, men don't really thrive off of that same thing. And so, you know, when you run into the same thing over and over again and it gets expensive, then for a lot of men, that curiosity stops. I'm not really curious anymore about it because I already know what's going to happen. I already know what's going to happen. So I'm not really curious anymore. I'm more so tired. I'm more so frustrated. I'm more so upset. I'm no longer excited at the potential to meet somebody because for, you know, going out with these modern women, it ends poorly. So I'm at that point in time, a lot of men just check out. They just go their separate ways. I'm just going to keep on doing my thing. Don't worry about me.
Men, let me say this clearly so everyone can understand what I'm trying to say. Let me tell y'all something. I have been telling men this for years and years and years about a woman. And I know a lot of people are not going to understand, but I know half of y'all is going to be like, girl, you right. And ladies, quote me wrong if I'm wrong. But fellas, one thing about a woman, she can still physically be there, but her mental, her love, her feelings can be done left, can be gone. 1 to 2 years, maybe even more. So fellas, when you try to quote make it right, she gonna be done left. She done been left. Cause it done took you too long for you to get it right. So when you try to make it right or get it right, her feelings, her mental, everything done fell off. And when you finally try to make it right, that's when she gonna quit. She's done. She gonna be like, I don't want to be in this relationship no more. And the thing about it is that she's never going to tell you when. You will never know when her feelings and her mental and her love was gone. She will never tell you when. Now, ladies, if I'm wrong, tell me. Let them know. Baby, don't play with me. Because my mental and my love and my feelings will leave way before I physically do.
Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Every woman has heard this. We spend all our time talking about the mental load of that statement. We're missing what it's actually saying. That statement is a man asking to be led. He doesn't know that's what he's asking. He's been told his whole life that he's the one in charge. But listen to it again. Does that sound like something a leader says? Men love a clear task. They love completing it. They love the acknowledgement after. And it's genuinely useful. I mean, thank God somebody's willing to do the physical work. But that's not leadership. That is execution. Leadership is organizing, anticipating, making sure everyone is cared for and moving toward the same goal at the same time. That's what women do, constantly, without a title, without a meeting about it, without being asked. Look at any holiday dinner. One woman, sometimes a few, coordinates the food, the timing, the dietary needs, the seating, the family dynamics, the emotional temperature of the whole room, flawlessly. Corporate boards pay millions to consultants trying to build that exact capability into their leadership. I have never worked for a company whose systems run as well as that dinner. Women are the natural leaders. Men are the physical labor. The corporate org chart just has it backward. You can actually run the room that you're in. The levers are all female coded, built into how you're already wired. redirecting the energy instead of being subject to it is one of them. Nobody ever taught you that it was an actual lever you could use. I'm starting a community where I teach women how to use feminine leverage to get what they want. Link in bio.
So modern feminism has basically destroyed chivalry, but then those same women go and complain when a man doesn't act masculine enough for them. As a woman, you don't get to just reject traditional gender roles when they inconvenience you, but then go and demand them when they benefit you. I just find it a bit comical because you guys rag on more traditional girls constantly, but then if every traditional expectation of women is outdated, then why are traditional expectations of men mandatory? Why should a man protect and provide for you if you give nothing in return? I hate to break it to you guys, but you just existing as a woman is not that special. You actually have to bring femininity to the relationship if you want masculinity in return. Because you can't have both. You can't say you want to split the check because you're a strong, independent woman, but then be upset when the guy you're dating's not manly. Oh, and this is such a problem with the high-value woman content online. Those girls will act as masculine as they possibly can, but then expect traditional masculinity at the same time from the men that they're dating. It's weird. And I'm talking about the girls who are like, oh, I would never go for coffee or just a drink as my first date. It better be a steak dinner because I'm that valuable. Okay, narcissistic much? Modern feminism has spent decades telling women that they don't need men to provide for them, protect them, or lead them. Then the same culture is turning around and asking, where have all the good men gone? Where have all the masculine men gone? The thing is, you can't spend years calling chivalry outdated and sexist, but then get upset when a guy doesn't open the door for you or pick up the check. You gotta keep your standards consistent. It's crazy. There's nothing sexist about chivalry, not even a little bit. Just don't expect a man to be masculine if you're not willing to be feminine.
And what you're seeing from a lot of these guys is they're more selective in the time that they give to people. Their family, friends, all of that's golden, because those are people usually that have invested in them, that have shown them love, that have been with them, that have, ride or die. That's my boy. Hey, I got a homegirl. You know what I mean? Those are the people that have shown them love, that have talked to them, that have counseled with them, that have supported them. Those are the type of people that have their back. They are there, loud, every time you need them. Hey, man, I'm here to support you. Not only with my resources, money, finances, you got my voice too. You need me to speak up for you on your behalf. You need some of these brothers out there. They'll get out there and rumble with you, man. I ain't condoning nothing now. I ain't condoning. I'm just saying they get out there and rumble with you a little bit. Okay, so they'll do that. But for modern women, you don't get those same perks because you don't say. First of all, you don't reciprocate. Second of all, you don't show that same type of loyalty back. I'm not going to get anything back from you. So you're not going to get those perks from me at all.
I've seen a lot of videos of women in their 30s and 40s.
I am so glad I did not have to be the one to say this. Viewer discretion is advised.
Exclaiming that men in their 20s are trying to date them. No, they're not. They are trying to hook up with you. And before you try to convince yourself that you're okay with that, are you really? Or are you just brainwashed into believing that promiscuity is empowering?
Now, that is a concept I can get behind wholeheartedly because I've been saying this for a while now. Anytime I've ever come across a woman that's older and like, oh, the young boys love me. No, they don't. They just want to crack. And as a young man that's been a younger man, I knew what it was like to be like, bro, I got that 30-year-old. She fucking with me. Not because I actually wanted to be with her. It was more so like a rite of passage. Like I was becoming a man and unlocking a certain space or a level in my life where I was 25 years old with a 35, 37-year-old woman. And for the ladies that actually believe these young boys really want to be with you, just think about it for one split second. What true accomplishment is there for you to attract young men? Truly. Because y'all got all these standards for men in your age group. Y'all got all these standards for men in your age group. And I'm sure them 20-year-olds are not meeting the standard. So what is the true accomplishment here? What makes you at 30 plus, maybe even 40 plus, some of y'all even 50 plus, say that, oh, the young boys love me? So what? They want to crack. If you look good enough, what man in his right mind wouldn't? Not to mention some of y'all be grooming those young boys, but you know what? That's a different conversation for a different time. But y'all catch my drift. Ladies, them young boys do not want to be with you. And it is not a flex to say that they actually want to sleep with you. It's actually very regular. Yeah, keep the change.
Remember when we were in kindergarten and we all thought our teacher lived at school? And then you'd see them at the grocery store and your mind would be blown? Well, that's the same thing for your Pilates instructor. I got a comment on this viral video of mine that said, "My Pilates instructor legit has a killer back, all because of bands and light weights." Your Pilates instructor doesn't live at the Pilates studio. She has a life outside of the studio, and she's had a life for 20, 30 years before the studio. It's easy to think that our Pilates instructor only does Pilates, because that's what she's teaching all day, that's what she's posting all over her social media. I mean, that's her job, but it's not her entire life. So when you hear a Pilates instructor or Pilates girl say, "Pilates built me my body," what she's not telling you is her entire fitness background. What sport did she play for 20 years growing up? Did she ever lift weights? If she has a good amount of muscle mass, she did. Does she continue to lift weights outside of the Pilates studio? And not to mention genetics. What most likely happened is she grew up playing a sport, lifted weights, and probably continues to lift weights, and most importantly, dialed in her nutrition and ate in a calorie deficit to lean out and reveal the physique that she's been building for years. So now when she does Pilates, it's easy to just maintain it. Of course, a Pilates instructor is going to tell you Pilates gave them their body because they're trying to sell you their Pilates program. And not every instructor does this, but enough do. But what would be helpful for women is for all Pilates instructors to just be transparent and say, yeah, I played sports growing up. Yeah, I lifted for years. Yeah, I continue to lift. Yeah, I ate in a calorie deficit, and that's how I built my body and achieved my lean and toned physique. Pilates doesn't build you a toned body. Growing up playing sports and lifting weights builds your body. Eating in a calorie deficit reveals it. And Pilates can maintain it, but it shouldn't be the only thing you do.
Up like a man. So
First
you're
of all-
telling me that a woman has to go work like a man every day, and a man goes work and he's tired when he gets home. A woman's not tired. She has to clean, cook, do the dishes, do the laundry. Are you kidding me?
Why don't you want to do that?
What are you talking about? Why don't I want to?
Pause.
You know how
Let
fucking
me-
tiring
first-
that is? Have you done that?
I do it every day. First of all, yelling doesn't mean you're winning an argument. It's a sign of low intelligence. You can lower your voice and speak to me. I'm sitting right here. I can hear
And
you.
you're-
Your
you're a
point is
hypocrite.
invalid. And you sound like the rest of these unwedded women talking about the modern day women right there. I'm going to go to work like you. Do you want me to cook, clean? First of all, if that was the case, so what? Yes, you're going to cook, clean, do this and do that. And guess what? He taking the trash out. He fixing the house. He making sure this. Y'all have different responsibilities and different roles. Now, amongst modern day women, we're equal. We're not. We're both important. We're equally important to the relationship, but we have different duties, functions, and responsibilities. And you yelling, "Oh, I gotta cook, clean," yes, because don't nobody care. But at the same time, my wife don't care if the AC duct needed to be cleaned and it was $300. She won't even know that the man came and went. We have different responsibilities. Just because I can see you cook the food and you can't see me clean the gutters, you don't even care about that stuff, but it still need to be done. Men have different responsibilities. So all this, "Oh, I cook and I clean," and yeah, that's part of your function. But when your tire is flat, my function is to make sure you have a new tire.
But
When
that's
your
what
car
I'm
need an
saying.
oil change, it's my job to make sure these people ain't ripping you off. We have different duties and functions and responsibilities. And if you don't love your duty, your function, your responsibility, you're not fit to be.
Let me tell y'all something. Men don't like commitment. Think about this. So when you force them to get married or they finally give in and get married, they don't want to be married. Not most of them. They get married knowing that they still going to do what they want to do during the marriage anyway. Like, "Oh, I guess I go ahead and get married." They still plan on doing whatever they want to do anyway. So I'm telling y'all, marriage does not mean the same thing to you as it means to them. So going into the game, you got to understand that. Marriage does not mean the same thing to them as it means to you. A man will get married and still plan to cheat. Marriage is just walking down the aisle saying "I do" when he's just lying. Okay, that's what marriage is. That's why men will marry whoever's around, because they still plan on cheating, and they still don't. That's not the end of the story. They still go and get some more. Okay, they're not pressed. Okay, so listen to what I'm telling you. Women get married and they think this is the one that I'm going to be with forever and grow old with and hold hands and walk on the beach and have my children with and be the best couple ever. That's how women look at marriage. Men look at marriage as, "I guess I go ahead and marry her because I can cheat whenever I want." I'm giving her what she wants. But that doesn't mean that the man can't still go out and do what he wants to do. So he doesn't see marriage the same way you do. That's why you gotta go into it understanding that. When you go into a marriage, you gotta understand that y'all are not there for the same reason. So you better be there for some money. All right? Because money is the leverage in every relationship. Make sure you get some. I'm gonna repeat that. Money is the leverage.
Indifference and loss of access will go so much further in teaching someone how to treat you than any paragraph you could ever possibly send. Let me show you exactly what this looks like with a client of mine. Beautiful, successful, ambitious. When we first started working together, she was very self-aware. She said, I overfunction in my relationship so much to the point where I feel like the man in the relationship, and it never works because I want to feel chased and pursued. Not long after she starts seeing this guy, a few weeks in, she gets a promotion at work and he offers to take her to her favorite restaurant so they can celebrate. Now the old her would have started over-functioning, saying that this place books up in advance, you should make a reservation, but she stopped herself. He gives her a date and time, she starts getting ready, he picks her up, they go to the restaurant, no reservation, and there's a wait. Now the old her would have said, that's fine, we can wait, or maybe we can go next door. But then she thought, no, I've already seen this movie. I already know how that ends, and it's just going to make me resentful. So instead, she decided to order her Uber, said, I'm gonna go. She goes radio silent. He knows that he effed up. He ends up calling her later that night, apologizing profusely, saying, I am so sorry. Let me make this up to you. Are you free this weekend? And she said, no, I already have plans, because she did. And he said, well, when can I see you next? And she said, Tuesday evening. Now, Tuesdays were the busiest day of the week for this guy, and she already knew this. And guess what? He showed up and he showed out and he went above and beyond. Not once did she have to raise her voice or explain her standards and boundaries. She just let him face the natural consequence of his behavior. Lack of consideration and lack of planning equals distance and disinterest.
Modern women really, they're not serious. They always have something silly to say. Well, how come I can't get a man to take me seriously? This goes beyond joking, right? Because you can have fun, you can be silly, you know, that's just who she is. She's just a goofy person. She just likes to have fun, she just likes to cut up. That's just who she is, right? If that's not your personality, leave her alone. That's one thing. What we have today is modern women cackling and being silly in a man's face when a man is trying to approach. And not only do they act silly and immature, they continue it instead of saying, no, we just playing. What's going on? There's one woman in the gym, man came up to her, you know, maybe he could have said something a little bit better. Maybe he could have approached a little bit better. He didn't do anything weird. But, you know, maybe he could have said some stuff better. Her friend jumps in, starts cackling and doing all that other stuff. And instead of saying, no, I'm sorry, go ahead. You know, this is your moment. And really, you know, being genuine about it. You know, maybe you give him a good natured ribbing. Hey, you remember when you said that to Chloe? And, you know, just kind of bust out laughing. And, you know, you kind of roast them a little bit and go on about your business. Men can take that. What men don't want to be involved in anymore is being the butt of the joke every single time. And they really didn't even do anything wrong. It's not worth it, man.